Thanks for being with us today. I hope you join us for the whole video as we teach you how to can your own macaroni and cheese. Hey everyone, Brian with Simple Homesteading. Glad that you're back with us as we're working our way through our series on meals in a jar. Now, last week we had you make a soup base, and today we're going to start taking some of that soup base and making meals in a jar with it. And so let's go ahead and get started on a recipe. Remember, the recipe is going to be found down in the description, and you can go ahead and not worry about trying to write this down really fast or having to pause the video and write down as you go. You can just expand that at the bottom and you can find it right there. Well, the very first thing we want to do is we want to take a half a cup of the soup base that we made last week. And so we'll go ahead and get a half cup scoop. We found these on clearance at Meijer's just this last week, and I thought these are perfect, the perfect size to getting into a wide mouth jar. So we're going to take a half a cup of that soup base. You don't have to be too exact like you would with flour, you know, in the scoop and swipe method, but that's going to be about a half a cup. We're going to put this into a quart jar. Now, if you have a pint and a half jar, that would work better, but we don't have any pint and a half jars, so we're going to be putting ours into a quart jar because a pint's not going to be big enough. And so we're going to put a half a cup of soup base into there, and then we're going to take 5 tablespoons of cheddar cheese powder. Now, last week you heard that we get a number of things through Hoosier Hill Farm. We get this on Amazon. Now, we don't get a lot of this stuff, but we get just enough of what we need to make a lot of these meals in a jar. It's not overly expensive. It's good quality. For those who are concerned about it, organic, this is organic. And so again, we're going to take 5 tablespoons. Now, this looks like a whole lot more than 5 tablespoons because it is. I like cheesy macaroni and cheese. That's what we're making today. And so we're going to go ahead and put 5 tablespoons of the cheddar cheese powder base in there. We're going to go ahead and take 1 tablespoon or 1 teaspoon of sour cream powder. That's this one down here. Put that in also. We'll take 1 tablespoon of Parmesan cheese. Now, you can get freeze-dried Parmesan cheese, and you can also get a dehydrated Parmesan cheese. I just use the Parmesan cheese out of the refrigerator section or out of the grocery store and put it in here. We're going to be pulling all the oxygen out of this. So this will be shelf stable for probably about a year. Some of them have had it up to 3 years. I really don't worry about this being freeze-dried or dehydrated. So 1 tablespoon of Parmesan cheese. We're going to take 1 teaspoon of sea salt or pink salt if you want, and a half a teaspoon of pepper. I've got a full teaspoon of pepper in here because I also put pepper on my macaroni and cheese. And so we'll go ahead and put that all in there. And then we also have a quarter teaspoon of onion powder, quarter teaspoon of mustard powder, and 1/8 of a teaspoon of basil. So I put that all into just one container, and we also put that in there. Now, that's about it of all the ingredients other than putting the macaroni in there. Now, again, you can kind of see why we've said that you're going to want to put this in a pint and a half jar, because if you fill the rest of this up with the elbow macaroni, you're probably going to end up with too much macaroni for this. And so we're going to fill this up probably about to the, well, I actually have a pint and a half mark, and so we'll go ahead and fill that up to the pint and a half mark on the jar, and then get ready to seal it next. Now, some of you might ask, well, again, Brian, I can just go ahead and buy this in a box at the grocery store. Why would I do this? Why would I do this on my own? I just go out and buy it. I can buy it probably for 99 cents or less. That's true, you can, but again, we explained a couple of weeks ago why we're doing these things on our own. Plus, something kind of drove that home this last week. When I was on Facebook, I saw a video that a mother posted. It was a recent video of her serving some homemade ravioli, beef ravioli. I'm not going to name the brand, but beef ravioli to her child. And as usual, some of those things kind of peel apart and break open as you're taking them out of the can. And she noticed something unique about it. And so she picked up her iPhone and she began pulling those things apart live. And the amount of insects that she found in the beef filling was incredible. Now, I know the government allows a certain amount of insects to be in everything we eat. Matter of fact, that's one of the things we fight with all the time, don't we? When we store stuff in our own homes, to make sure that things that we don't want in our food stay out of our food. And so I'm not blaming them and hoping that they get 100%. But again, the amount of insects that were in this was just incredible. And so as I'm making my own, I don't worry. I can see what's in there. I can see what's going on in here. And I'm going to be much more confident of what I'm eating is not going to have something in it that I don't want to be in there. So we're going to put about half as much elbow macaroni as we have in the powder. We might add just a little bit more. Again, all of this is the flavor. Now, last week I said that with this you couldn't use a vacuum packer for your the machine that you have that takes all the air out of the baggies and everything that you have, the Food Saver. That's our brand that we have, and you can't. But with this, what you're going to do with dishes like this is you're going to put all the powder on the bottom, you're going to put the macaroni on the top, and then you can use your vacuum packer to pull all the air out of this, and then it's going to stay for quite a long time. And so again, look for the recipe below, and in just a second here we'll cut to another shot where we vacuum pack this. All right, let's go ahead and move to there. All right, if you remember last week, I told you one of the ways in which you can seal these up is to put a couple of oxygen absorbers in here, put the lid and the ring on, and it will eventually seal itself. One of the other ways that you can do it is to use something like a vacuum sealer like the Food Saver brand that we've got here. We're going to show you how to do that in just a second. Ours is starting to get a little finicky. We've had it for quite a while, and it's starting to be able to seal as well as it used to. So we'll give this a shot a couple of times and see what we need to do. So one of the things that you want to do is you want to make sure that, since you've worked with powder and things, is to just kind of wipe the lid off, the edge of the lid off really well so there's no fine powder there. And then you're going to want to go ahead and put the seal cap on. Now these come in wide mouth and a narrow. Now you didn't see, but she had the lid on the inside. And so you put that on there. You plug the line in. And you just hit vacuum and seal. Wait for it to come back down. Now, one of the other things I didn't say is you can use used lids. If you haven't bent them too bad or anything, you can use used lids. You cannot reuse lids when you can, but you can reuse lids for dry packing like this, and we try to do that. And so she's going to pull that off and see if it's sealed for us. Ta-da! All right, so there you go, and it's all good to go, and that can work for that can stay on the shelf for at least a year or more. If you want to be extra careful, you can just go ahead and put the ring on it to help hold it down a little bit. But there you go. Canning your own macaroni and cheese. Now, like we said, we'll take the time to make this and eat it for you, and we'll give it a taste test. I will also give you the instructions for how you need to mix this. Remember, anytime that you do dehydrated food or canned food like this, you need to do 2 parts to 1. So you're going to want to have 2 parts water for every 1 part of all of this. So you're going to fill up your jar to this level twice. You're going to pour it into a saucepan. You're going to bring it to a boil until the noodles are done and ready to eat. And you're going to put us all in at the same time. You're not going to do the noodles first and then add the powder. This isn't like the boxes you get at the store. You're going to put it all in at the same time with 2 parts water to 1 part of what you've got in your can. And you're going to stir frequently. Stir frequently. Now, if this is a little on the thin side, even after boiling it down, you can add potato flakes to it. and that will help also thicken it up. Again, we want to thank you for being with us today here on Simple Homesteading. Hope you have a great, great week ahead.
Again, thanks for being with us today. We appreciate you all so very, very much. You're such an encouragement to us. If you're new to the station and you would like to stay on top of our most recent posts, make sure that you hit subscribe. Also, if you like what you saw, hit the like button. If you would like to be notified when we post a new video, hit the little bell button over on the right-hand side. That way you don't have to keep checking back, and when we post a new video, you'll get a notification that we've done so. Again, thanks for being with us. And we just hope the Lord continues to bless you.